in Somalia, over 40% of the population is at risk of starvation due to ongoing drought caused by global warming. In the barren landscapes of Somalia, silence stalks the earth, pressing down like an invisible weight. But this silence is not empty. It's filled with stories of survival, fears, and hollow cries that stays in the dry winds. In this region, the soil has forgotten the taste of rain, and what was once green and fertile has turned to dust. Hunger prowls, silent but sharp, like a predator. And for those who remain, survival is no longer a certainty, but a test. Well, a test few can pass as the shadows of drought and despair grow starker each day. Somalia's struggle against drought is nothing new, yet the scale of suffering has reached unprecedented levels. Since 2015, Somalia has been battered by constant failed rainy seasons, with 5 consecutive seasons lacking the life-giving rain it depends on. In 2022, the little water remained in the Shabelle and Juba rivers all disappeared. Now vast stretches of farmland lie cracked, barren, and skeletal of what they once were. Somalian scenario reveals a deeper hopelessness, such as wrinkled crops, abandoned homesteads, and ghostly livestock carcasses scattered across desert plains. Somalia's once fertile fields now produce more dust than sustenance. In this harsh territory, 6.7 million people, nearly half of the population, are struggling to find food and water. Villages that thrived are turning to ghost towns, while families are forced to abandon their homes, searching for any source of water. Each failed season feels like a broken promise to the people who remember times when rain came and crops flourished. But now, hope evaporates with every sunrise over the cracked and desolate ground. The earth, once a lifeline, has turned against them. So basically, the drought has struck the center of Somalia's economy. The Somalians are predominantly herders, where generations have survived by tending sheep, camels, and cattle. But now, herds are dwindling, and with every lost animal, a family's livelihood dies. More than 3 million animals perished in just 2 years, leaving countless families on the edge of destitution. In Somalia, the death of an animal isn't just a statistic, it's a blow to families who treat these creatures as part of their survival. A sheep represents milk for children, wool for clothing, and a potential source of income. A camel can mean the difference between life and death in these arid lands. Now, without water, food, or buyers, livestock markets stand empty as the desert claims its toll. These challenges ripple across Somalia's economy. Once busy rural markets are deserted. Children who would have attended schools are instead walking endless miles to search for water. Families are sliding deeper into poverty as their only asset, which is livestock, waste away in the heat. The economy, much like the land itself, is withering away. Somalia's food crisis has turned into a human catastrophe. By 2023, nearly 8 billion people were grappling with severe hunger, including 1.8 million children under the age of 5 who suffer from malnutrition. In overcrowded clinics, frail children cling to life, their bodies weakened by the lack of basic sustenance. The haunting sight of young eyes cooling from hunger is one that leaves an indelible mark on anyone who witnesses it. The statistics are horrifying, but behind each number is a story of a mother sacrificing her own meals for her children, a father breaking down when he can't feed his family. Starvation has driven people to desperation, leading some families to make impossible choices. Which child would eat today and who must wait until tomorrow? This daily calculus of survival forces them to confront heart-wrenching realities that no one should ever have to face. Now, looking at the political and social unrest, this unveils Somalia's drought is not just a natural disaster, it's a crisis worsened by political instability. The country is mired in conflict with militant groups like Al-Shabaab controlling significant regions, making it dangerous for aid organizations to reach those in need. This conflict weaponizes starvation, turning famine into a tool for control. Checkpoints block aids, threatening workers and hindering the distribution of food. Years of political turmoil have left the government powerless in many regions. It's a landscape where mistrust reigns and alliances shift like the sands. For the hungry and desperate, food is no longer a basic right, but a battleground in a war beyond their control. Humanitarian organizations strive to break through these barriers, but their resources are stretched thin. Funding gaps are immense. The people of Somalia have received less than half the funding needed for crisis relief in 2023. Security threats and logistical hurdles make transporting food and water supplies perilous. Every mission is a race against time. Yet, they must walk in the shadow of violence and restricted access. As aid convoys travel, they must dodge landmines, evade ambushes, and navigate regions where political alliances can change overnight. Even with global support, the barriers Somalia faces make effective relief seems an ever-distant goal. Behind each statistic is a face, a life story cut short by the unforgiving reality of hunger. Mothers journey for miles with children strapped to their backs, searching for water that isn't there. In Mogadishu slums, families gather, hoping for relief that rarely arrives. Yet the smallest gesture they get is a shared piece of bread and a sip of water, which has become an act of survival. The drought has stolen countless lives, including the dreams of young Somalis who might never have the chance to build a future. For each life lost, a void remains, creating spaces in family trees and communities fractured by grief. Their stories are testimonies of endurance and of a land that has, for now, lost its promise of life. Somalia's plight is a mirror reflecting the larger climate crisis. The rising global temperatures, shifting weather patterns, and intensified droughts have left the country vulnerable. This is no longer just an African crisis, it's a global warning. As climates become more extreme, Somalia is one of many countries that will continue to bear the brunt of this changing world. Climate models predict even harsher conditions in the years to come, meaning that this crisis is not an isolated tragedy, but a harbinger of a world where droughts, floods, and famine grow more common. Somalia's struggle is a plea, a call to action for the world to recognize the urgent need to address climate change before it's too late. As the sun sets over Somalia, a quiet resolve lingers. For the people of this land, survival has become a way of life, a fight fought in silence and in sorrow. They endure day by day, waiting for a miracle in the form of rain, relief, or even a glimmer of hope. But they can't do this alone. In the cracks of Somalia's soil, the whispers of those suffering calls to us. Join us, stay with us, and let's be the voice that echoes beyond these dry fields. Please subscribe, share, and become part of this story. Together, we can bring light to the shadows, because every life saved in Somalia is a conviction of hope, and hope, like rain, can start with just one drop.